Hello, welcome to Planet Hex. I am Andrew Horn, and on this episode, we've got another Andrew.
Oh.
Now, this other Andrew is Andrew Allen, who is the DM of my Dungeons & Dragons group that I play at, which I was invited to by my friends Charlotte and Jordan a while ago, and joined in with that. And I'm having a great fun playing D&D with the group. It's been quite an experience. I'm still quite a new player to D&D. I mean, I've played things like Warhammer and things like that for a long time, but D&D is a new world to me, and I'm really enjoying it. So, what is it like DMing a group of weirdos?
It's a challenge at times, I'm not going to lie. But I think, I've been doing it for quite a while now. I mean, I started when I was probably I want to say about 12 or 13, to be honest. It wasn't like proper D&D, but it was like, we pretend to be like, I don't know if you know what about the Red Wall books. Which are all about like little mice and badgers and things.
Brian Jack?
Yeah. So we kind of had our own little like reenactment kind of thing, and that's kind of like where my like obsession with like role-playing kind of stuff kind of came from. Yeah, it's quite a good place. And yeah, I went there a few times, and then I was like, this is really cool. So I got the starter pack 5th edition, and then the rest of the say is where we are now. So yeah, I'm running what's called the Icewind Dale campaign with you guys. And so far it seems to be going okay, I think.
Is it difficult to try and keep everyone on track?
Yeah, sometimes, because I try and ensure that people can go off tangent to some extent, because I know there's some DMs out there who are like, yes, I'm doing a pre-made campaign, but I'm kind of filling in the gaps a little bit and like kind of going off on tangents a little bit. And I think you need that in a campaign, because otherwise it could just get really boring. It's like, you're here, and now you're going to this place, and now you're going to this place, and now and I kind of like, I'm trying to do it more of, rather than like a solid campaign that could go on. I mean, it's difficult at the moment, what with COVID and everything, to do like a 3-day or 4-day session and stuff. I'm trying to do it more like, almost as if it's like a TV show. So it's like episodes. So it's
more episodic. Each session would be an episode.
And then what I kind of do, like, I've got another group that I'm doing the same campaign with you guys. And I do like, I've not done it with you guys yet, but I do like a little write-up about what happened. And then like always kind of try and leave it on a cliffhanger kind of thing. So it seems to be going all right so far. So
I like that. I like that a lot. Do you find it differs doing it over Zoom to how it feels in IRL?
Yeah, I think there's not as much like intimacy almost. If I know that might sound a bit weird, but there's nothing better, I think, than, like I say, especially at the moment, having a group of mates around a table, chucking some dice together, and you can almost like gauge each other's emotions a little bit more than over a camera. So if you're like talking about stuff, you can see it and that kind of stuff, and you can almost feel it a little bit. Whereas over Zoom, it's good, don't get me wrong, it's great that I can just, like, rather than pointing at bits on a map, I can have a map up on screen and all that kind of stuff. So I think on that aspect, Zoom's been like, I think without Zoom it would have been difficult to kind of carry on these kind of things.
I do like the online maps. I think those are a great idea.
Yeah, and I think I'd have probably not bothered until the lockdown is over, but Zoom's kind of, I think it's opened it up to so many different things that people can do now. So like, obviously we're doing D&D, but I'm also quite a big like war gamer as well.
Yeah.
So I like my wargaming, and the fact that like I can have a set of models, for example, that can represent another person's army. They don't have to be the same thing.
Yeah.
But we can both set up a table where our troops are going to be, and we can like move, and we can actually play like tabletop games and stuff over Zoom, which I think it's definitely helped like the communication side of stuff, and then keeping in touch with people. So
excellent. I mean, do you think, I personally, I think that once all COVID ends, I think there's going to be a lot more interest in things that have kept everyone going during COVID. Do you think with people, you know, I guess a lot of people have come to D&D through the COVID era. Do you think it's going to gather more players in person as it goes on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Wizards of the Coast are a huge company anyway. They're people who do Dungeons and Dragons, and the fact that I think that over the months with COVID and stuff, they've released quite a lot of free content just to try and get people more engaged.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just brought in a massive audience of players, both old and young. You know, I've chatted to some people who've not played D&D in 10 years, and the fact that they've, like, someone's gone, you know, I want to try and get in touch with people. And try and keep communicating with people. What's the best way of doing it? And most of them have turned towards like a D&D or like a role-playing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because it gets everybody, you know, still engaged with some form of hobby that they're used to.
Yeah.
And I think that it's helped so much. And I think the audience has grown, definitely. And I think it's just going to get bigger, to be honest. I think Wizards have probably got a lot of stuff planned. They've released quite a lot of books lately with like updates and stuff. So I think
they've also done a lot with regards to Magic the Gathering, because of course there's Arena. So I think that's going to have brought a lot more people to game stores once COVID ends. I think it's going to see a resurgence in more analog gameplay, despite it all being digital at the moment.
Yeah, and then I've just got a new gaming PC, and they're heavily linked with like Baldur's Gate and Baldur's Gate 3's. Which essentially is just Dungeons and Dragons, the game, in my eyes.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But there's so many different like avenues to get into, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be Dungeons and Dragons. There's so many different role-playing like things out there. So I know my cousin's playing a cyberpunk one at the moment that they're playing through, and it's just, there's so much stuff out there that people can get access to now that I think
absolutely. I mean, I'm a big fan of Loading Ready Run, and they do a lot of video over video, lots of RPGs over video, like Vampire, and they're doing one on Alien and so on, and that's all remote.
Play Vampire, and apparently it's one of the things that I'd love to get into, because it looks ridiculous. It looks really good.
It looks ridiculously fun as well.
Yeah.
But I think it is going to see a bit of a rise. I mean, it already started before COVID, thanks to things like Critical Role and it being played in Stranger Things as well. Excuse the cat. Again.
But no,
I think this is going to help.
Critical Role stuff, and I think that definitely helps. Like having those, you know, people who, you know, are so iconic and do all the like voice acting, and they're quite famous. Having them, you know, sit around a table and chuck some dice, which can to some people seem a bit nerdy and a bit geeky, but having these top class people, and especially even like the Big Bang Theory, when they did the whole, you know, having William Shatner and the guy, I can't remember the guy, I should probably know, but the guy from like Magic Mike and all that kind of stuff, and they had them in a session playing D&D, and Will Wheaton, and of course, he does all the D&D and gaming stuff on YouTube.
Vin Diesel was a big player.
Yeah, so it's
Joe Manganiello as well.
Yeah, that's the guy, Joe Manganiello. Yeah.
Have you seen his D&D room?
Yeah,
it's epic.
It's crazy. Yeah, it looks ridiculous. But yeah, it's like those high top people that you wouldn't think in the first instinct, you wouldn't go, oh, they're playing D&D. That's actually pretty cool. And it opens up that audience a little bit more to go, well, actually, you know, it's not all about, you know, nerds in like sweaty palms and sweaty face and all that kind of stuff, sat in a dark, you know, basement somewhere. It opens it up, and it kind of goes, actually, you know, we might give it a go and maybe do like a one-off, and if we like it, and that kind of stuff. So
have you ever had anyone being like that towards you? I mean, like if you look at our groups, like we've all got partners, we've all got partners and lives.
It's like, my girlfriend Annette, she plays in our group kind of thing, and then there's Dawn and Charlotte and stuff, and it's like, they're not necessarily like major nerds or geeks like we are, kind of thing, but they enjoy it, and they still kind of have a good time and all that kind of stuff. And I think that's the thing, you've got to try and make it fun and engaging. And like, yes, when I was younger, obviously, doing it in school and stuff considered a little bit, on the geeky side, and you were called nerd and all that kind of stuff. But we were just having fun. That was how we, got through days and that kind of stuff. So
that was
we weren't all about playing football or any of that kind of stuff. That was kind of our go-to, way of enjoyment. So,
well, what do you think is the enduring appeal of it? I mean, it started off as pamphlets like 40 years ago, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember picking it up probably around 2nd or 3rd edition, probably. And the fact that it's now in its 5th edition, and I think they're working on the 6th edition at the moment, and it's it's constantly evolving. And I think the fact that there's been so many editions and that kind of stuff just proves how many people enjoy it and the longevity of it. And the fact that I think it's quite adaptable, so you can just do, if you want to just do an hour or a couple of hours session as a one-off, you can do that. Or like we're doing, I can see this possibly going on for months, if not years, this campaign. And I think and I know there's some people who I've played with that or that I know that have had games go on for like 5-10 years kind of thing, and they're still going.
Fantastic.
That's
really getting your money's worth out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that they've like adapted it to go through multiple editions as well. So it's not like they've even done like a hard reset. They've kind of tailored their characters and gone, okay, this is how it used to work. This is how it does work now. And I think things like the starter set and like some of the little like core like rule sets that you can get and stuff. I mean, that starter set was probably, I think it was about 25 to 30 quid. And you get a full campaign in there. You get like a slimmed down version of the rules.
Yeah,
you get 5 or 10
main characters as well. Don't you?
Yeah, you get some like pre-gen characters. So within, reading the rule book, I mean, it depends how in depth you want to go, but you could probably get started with that in. If you took like 2 or 3 days to just have a look through it.
And there's free stuff like D&D Beyond that people can
because I know you mentioned the app and stuff, and that definitely helps. It takes a lot of the setup, because it can be quite tedious sometimes writing up a character on a character sheet, whereas obviously that is it's accessible by your phone, by your computer, and all that kind of stuff. It auto levels up for you.
Yeah,
you can do dice rolls on it and stuff, and it definitely helps.
I do think it's a lot more freeing than my main frame of reference for role playing is 40k, and I do find that D&D is a lot more. What's the word I'm after? It's less. It seems less adhered to you're left to adhere to the rules a bit less.
Yeah.
There's a lot more freedom to be creative and be the characters that you're wanting to put
across.
Definitely.
I think I mean I play 40k quite a bit, and I think there's a lot of lore and a lot of history and a lot of in-depth stuff that it's why I'm quite terrified of playing a 40k campaign or a 40k like role-playing type thing, because it's you've got to pick the right people who are going to be interested in it, and B, if you pick people that are interested in it, are they going to be those kind of people that go, well, actually, it should be like XYZ, or it should be like ABC. Whereas with D&D, there are core rules and there's core stats and all that kind of stuff, and it is mainly just dice rolling, but the amount of freedom that you can have with it. So, for example, I'm obviously doing the Icewind Dale stuff. There's already been, I think, 3 or 4 different things that are completely off of the Icewind Dale stuff that you guys have already done, and it's just it's making me think a lot more about how I'm going to deal with XYZ kind of thing. So whilst I'm sticking to the Icewind Dale plot to some extent, I can see Icewind Dale just being like a foundation, and then I can build upon that and build the world and build all these kind of things and make it almost like as real as possible that I can. So,
well, is it us having all the fun, or are you having fun along with us when we're doing it?
I think a bit of both, really. It's me trying to deal with some of the crazy stuff that you're doing, but then also. But
it's not me that's a creature worshipping oranges. That's Charlotte.
Yeah, it's not you that's a worshipper of the orange and thinks the life source comes out of an orange, and that's not the color. That's the fruit orange that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I've had to kind of tweak that a little bit because she was like, I've got to go and do a random sacrifice, and ended up killing off a random NPC every now and again when we were in a town, and I was like, you're probably not going to get away with that. So yeah, like when you were talking about engaging some form of giving people freedom, yes, you can worship the orange and all that kind of stuff, that's fine, but sacrificing a person every night otherwise she appeases the orange gods is probably a little bit too far. But no, I think on one hand, yes, it's challenging, but on the other hand, like, I appreciate the amount of creativity that's come into this party. So like my brother, they're obviously this kind of dwarf wizard who is pretty much a dick to everybody. But that's kind of how he's created his character.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like he's being a dick towards the people within the group. It's his character that's like that. Like if you met him in real life and that kind of stuff, you would know that he is probably one of the nicest. Not he's fans, but I'm still getting used to all the pronouns and stuff. But they are probably one of the nicest people you will ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
But they've like gotten into the character so much that they're loving playing how they want to play it, and I think that's brilliant.
I'm loving the accents.
Yeah,
there's some quality accents coming out and very distinct personality.
So yeah,
see, conversely, Jordan is a dick. He's love you really, Jordan.
Yeah, it's kind of a I remember we played another campaign a while ago that I was running. And he would literally be a case of, I'd explain it in all this detail, and he'd go, I'd set fire to the room, and I'd be like, what? You're in a tavern with all these really important people, or you're in a chapel with all these really important people, and he just go, yeah, I set fire to the room, and I'm like,
at least let us get a pint before you kill everyone.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great to like get everybody's like personality and character out a little bit more, which is what I'm trying to do. And I'm working on like accents and trying to make everybody as unique as possible, like NPC wise.
You clearly love doing the accents.
Oh yeah, it's one of the main things that I'm trying to work on. So we've got like
the guy selling fruit was my favorite.
Yeah,
pies.
And then there was a guy at a market stall who kept forgetting who he was.
That was it.
Forgetting what you were doing. Yeah,
he was great.
So yeah,
how did you come up with the voices for those? Do you plan the voices ahead?
So when I was coming up with him, I was just thinking of a tiny little bit of the old guy from Family Guy. So it's kind of like that kind of like whiny voice with all the elongated like whistling and stuff.
Perfect.
And then I was thinking of I don't know, just random things come into my head. So I was thinking of like the Disney Robin Hood, where Robin Hood's dressed as the old guy and he's asking for alms for the poor and all that kind of stuff. So that voice kind of came in, and then there's just so many things that I kind of do and create. So like with dwarves and stuff, I try and give them quite a northern like up north Scottish accent, because I think that suits them really well. And then
bit of Gimli coming through.
Yeah, and then elves and stuff, you've got to give them like quite a soft accent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just thinking of like different ways to make the races and the characters as unique as I can. Because I think just just talking normally works, and you still get this thing across, but it doesn't immerse as much as trying to work on all the like
no, you need more atmosphere,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, definitely.
What would you say to someone that's trying to get into D&D that's thinking maybe I should try that? People seem to be enjoying it. What would you say to draw them in?
I'd say I've probably got a few things. So the first one would be make sure you've got a good party and make sure that they're as engaged with it as you are, because 50% of the work is the DM, but 50% of the work is the party, because they're going to be the ones that are going to be playing through it. And they need to be engaged, because then you can bounce stuff off them. So I think, going in with it with a good group of mates who are really keen and really interested. The next thing, I think, don't try and necessarily go for like a massive campaign straight off.
Yeah,
I think just have a play with, an hour, a 2-hour encounter kind of thing, because there's loads of them out there.
Oh yeah, there's loads of independent ones as well, like for free and stuff.
Yeah, and I think if you are wanting to go into a full long campaign, that's great. And I think the next thing I would say is, do your research. So when you are doing a full campaign, I know it can be a bit tedious, but read as much as you can. So, for example, with you guys at the moment, obviously you've just come to like quite a major bit, but I'm already 4 or 5 steps ahead, and I've got loads all planned out. So I would say, read as much as you can ahead, but also plan for the unexpected, because whilst you read all of it, and whilst you might have like, pages and pages of everything precisely planned out, things can go awry. So one of the campaigns I played, which was a homebrew with one of my mates, Josh, and a few others, we ended up going into like an encampment, and there were loads of like enemies and stuff, and it basically ended up with, I'd found some random like herbs and mushrooms and stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll give this a go. I ate a mushroom and it turned me blue, like my skin completely blue. And I was like, what? How am I going to get hidden? I'm this bright luminescent blue guy. I can't hide or anything. So we end up going towards this encampment, and then I'm like, right, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to claim that I am their like new prophet and their new saint. So they were like, yep, go for it. So I rolled natural 20, of course. And from there on, I created my own religion. I had followers. I had people, creating like chapels in specific villages and
That's
stuff.
That's fantastic.
And it, that to me is like the essence of D&D. It doesn't have to be, a storyline in a book. It can go completely whichever way you want it to go, and I think that's the freedom that you have with it. It's brilliant.
Boundless, and I love that. So in closing, can you tell us, can you plug your channel for me?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel called Kwingo Talks. It's a little bit of everything really. So if you go on YouTube and type in Kwingo Talks, you're sure to find me. So I usually do a stream on a Sunday every couple of weeks from 2 till 4. At the moment, it's predominantly some miniatures painting that I'm doing. So I've been getting quite a few things from different like independent, like kind of small companies that have been sending me some stuff that I've been painting up. So recently I did like a halfling Conan the Barbarian diorama, which is my latest thing that I did. So it's got like a little halfling Conan and a little halfling woman, and it's got like a cobra that's coiled around that's been like decapitated and stuff. So yeah, that's the main thing, but I'm open to like doing loads of other stuff. So I've done like a few interviews with some companies. I'm looking to do like, when I get more into, and hopefully once COVID's over, when I get some more games in and stuff, I've got about 2,000 points of Imperial Fists. So they're like my main army, but I wanna like talk more about,
That's a lot of yellow.
Yeah.
So much yellow paint.
Yeah, so some of it's going to be like how I painted it, but then some of it's also going to be, how I decided to put X, Y, Z into my army, and a bit more about army building. Because I think there's loads of videos about painting, and there's loads of videos about, you know, building and doing X, Y, Z. But from what I've seen, there's not really that many into, you know, I've got this stuff, how do I set it up and stuff, and how do I bundle it all together into quite a decent army. So that's like, it's a bit all-rounded. But yeah, if you search for Kwingo Talks, I've got a few videos on there, streaming 2 till 4, and I usually try and get a video, if I'm not streaming, try and get a video out at least every couple of weeks. So
awesome. I shall link to that in the show notes as well. Thank you ever so much for doing this.
No problem.
Actually, I look forward to catching you at the next session.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be next Saturday, I think.
I look forward to it.
Yeah,
I'll have to record one sometime and get some highlights out of it.
Yeah,
just
definitely. I've been
having
to think about how to do the recording and stuff, because I don't know if on Zoom you can just click record and it record the session or not. I'm not sure.
That's all
I'm guessing. Yeah. So yeah, there's that, and then I was thinking of doing like a stream one where I live stream it a few times. So there's a lot of things that I've got in the works. So I've got quite a lot of stuff come from different companies that I'm going to be painting up.
Awesome.
But yeah, it should be a good laugh. It should be good fun.
And as well, it's just nice to spend some time with you chatting. I do really appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. Yeah, I look forward to hopefully being on again at some point where we can talk a little bit more about.
Absolutely. I'm always eager for more content. Thank you for joining us on Planet Hex.
Yeah. All right, Andy. You take care.
Bye bye.
Cheers, buddy. Bye bye.